Saturday Night Live poked fun at the political scandals that have rocked Virginia, where the governor and attorney general admitted wearing blackface and the lieutenant governor is facing accusations of sexual assault. The sketch stars Kenan Thompson as the head of an ethics panel in Virginia's state government. He is joined by other state officials, all of whom are white. They include Glenn, played by Pete Davidson; Tom, played by Beck Bennett; Barbara, played by Cecily Strong; Phil, played by Mikey Day; Kyle Mooney, who plays an unnamed fan of Al Jolson; and another unnamed character played by Halsey. The sketch is meant to spoof the rationalizations that have been offered as reasons that wearing blackface may not be considered offensive. It is also aimed at highlighting white Americans' ignorance over the sensitivity surrounding the wearing of blackface. All right, so we're all in agreement that the lieutenant governor should be encouraged to step down? The character played by Thompson says. When the ethics committee members agree, Thompson says, "All right. Then it's settled." Okay, one more quick thing before we get out of here. As you all know, earlier this week our governor admitted to wearing blackface in college as part of a costume. Then later the attorney general also admitted to wearing blackface in college for a costume. It's extremely embarrassing to the state, and as chair of the ethics committee I have to ask, has anybody else worn blackface in college? Anybody? Glenn raises his hand and sheepishly asks, "You going to get mad?" "No, I'm not gonna get mad," Thompson's character says. "I just need to know now, did you wear blackface in college, Glenn? Is that a yes, Glenn?" Glenn's facial expression gives away the answer. He then reveals that he dressed up as Mr. TK. "See, I didn't get mad," Thompson says. "Did you take pictures, Glenn?" Glenn indicates that he did take pictures. "Well, that's not good. But you did the right thing coming forward," Thompson says. Tom then raises his hand and asks, "Yeah, I have a question. What if the blackface was just part of your costume of a black person?" A stunned Thompson replies, "That's exactly the kind of thing that we were looking for today." Barbara then raises her hand. "Does it still count if you did it all the way back in the 80s? She asks. Phil then interjects. "No, of course not," he says. "It was funny and cool in the 80s. To which Thompson replies, "Nope, going to stop you right there, Phil. It does still count and it was never funny or cool. Anybody else?" Mooney's character then raises his hand. "What if you wore the blackface as a tribute, like an homage to your hero?" He asks. "Who is your hero?" Thompson asks. "Al Jolson." Jolson was a singer, comedian, an actor from the early to mid-20th century who was once known as the king of blackface performers. "Yeah, well, I would file that as very, very wrong," Thompson says. The other members then wonder if it was okay to wear blackface as a way of dressing in black booty, or goofing around with your friends, or dressing as Fat Al Sharpton. Halsey's character asks if it is offensive to wear a biracial costume which shows both versions of Michael Jackson. Jackson, the legendary king of pop, bleached his skin to change his appearance. Thompson becomes exasperated as he struggles to explain that blackface wasn't acceptable under any circumstances. "I'm going to take a 2-week lunch before I lose my damn mind," he says. In real life, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam is under intense pressure to resign after a photograph was found in his medical school yearbook showing a man wearing blackface standing next to another wearing a KKK costume. Initially, Northam said he was one of the people in the picture, but then backtracked, claiming that the photo was put there without his knowledge. At a news conference, he admitted to putting shoe polish on his face while impersonating Michael Jackson at a 1984 dance contest. Northam looked as if he was going to dance the moonwalk in front of reporters, but his wife, Pam, told him it was inappropriate to do so. If Northam steps down, it would pave the way for Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax to take over. But Fairfax is also resisting a growing chorus of calls for his resignation after 2 women came forward to accuse him of sexual assault. As if there weren't enough chaos, it was learned this week that the state's Attorney General, Mark Herring, also wore blackface to a party as an undergraduate college student decades ago. Northam, Fairfax, and Herring are all Democrats. The scandals have been a huge blow to the party, whose grip on power in Virginia could slip as a result of the negative headlines.